Grandma, good stuff. I hear you. Those responsible for what you've just seen, my friend and colleague, Mr. Gary Byer, was our director, producer, and editor. Gary, show yourself. Ben Coffey, stand up, Ben. Played piano on that jam right there. And Jake Simon played guitar. Where's Jake? Again, Jake. Once more. Jake played guitar, mixed the sound, and was endlessly patient when I badgered him during Mrs. Carr's fourth period AP English class for several weeks this spring, which is where it all started, really. I had this idea for the project, but as I possess neither musical talent nor technical ability, I did what any one of us would do when I needed assistance. I called the senior. When you require initiative, close attention to deadlines, and a sense of unflagging responsibility, you call a senior. When foresight, punctuality, and getting the job done right are mission critical, you call a senior. If you need a relentless engine of can-do, someone who rises in the pre-dawn gloom, radiating boundless energy, always eager for more stuff to do, you call a senior. Many of us, especially the teachers, know that if you're in a pickle, you take out your phone, okay? You dial star 12. You call a senior, it's done. No questions asked. Now, if you're the parent of a graduate, you might be saying, doesn't sound like our Timmy. So, no, this might not describe every senior, but it sure does describe Jake and Ben. If you are in the building or watching remotely, you're connected to these graduates in some way, and that is in capsule what we are about here in Fairport. So for all of us here tonight, as a teacher and a parent in this district, I extend my gratitude to everyone. I'm especially grateful to Fairport High School for being the X on the zany treasure map of my life, because the gods placed me down across the hall from a teacher named Kim Kirchner, who would become my wife and would, with assistance from me, bring our daughter Georgia into this world 8 years ago. They have made me a better human being and a better teacher, and they are the reason that I love my life. Our little family has given me my own perfect world. To quote, again, John McClane from the 1988 movie Die Hard, Kim and Georgia are the best thing that ever happened to a bum like me. My messages to the graduates tonight are simple. Farewell and thank you. I'm conveying them to you through two poems, and I do so with props to Tom Droitline, FHS class of 2013, one of many students who became my teacher. I wrote the first poem around 5 years ago as a way to explain to my students how it feels for a teacher to say goodbye to graduating students. The other one I'm going to make up tonight as I go along. I was going to write it out ahead of time, revise it, practice it, but as a tribute to the seniors, I'm just going to wing it. This first poem is called Fare You Well. Fare you well, my friends. As you rush toward this new dawn, this fresh precipice, you're gaining speed as you approach this exodus, your feet barely trailing along the dusty ground. You shake loose and dance to the sound of your own beating wings. You're leaving behind childish things, all the mood rings, back handsprings, the summer flings, the backyard swings, and your heart sings, even though it stings. The earth grows smaller beneath you as you gain elevation. You look back and wave at Raider nations. It becomes a tiny speck, sweet fading childhood salvation, and you can hear faint cries from below of affirmation, recrimination, everyone shouting, be careful, do this, don't do that. Your wings could melt Icarus and you'll fall with a splat. And you're like, yeah, sci-fi, YOLO, I know all that. You've been chasing the 27th of June, chasing it down like the rising sun, stalking the moon with the ferocity of a monsoon. You've measured out your days with curfews and coffee spoons, and now you're singing a new tune. You're leaving all this behind for wild adventures and exciting endeavors, not sitting here listening to lectures from old men spitting their censures through crusty dentures. And when the last school bell's echoes have died, when the last friends have hugged and cried and taken strides into the world vast and wide, I will remain here, watching your shadows recede across the lawn until you are indeed gone. And all that remains in room 109 with its walls of white are silence stretched tight and motes of dust swimming in dusky light. Fare you well. I'll keep calm and carry on. I'll rise in the gray of the dawn and begin again. That's what it's all about as a teacher. I'm an odd kind of creature. The one who remains when every desk, hallway, and bleacher is empty, but for the echoes and whispers of students who came and went, an endless procession of precedent, some excellent, some reticent, some who might one day be president, but not one of them a permanent resident. All transients, passers through, nomads and visitors, locker-bound prisoners, set free from their sinister inquisitors to walk across the stage and out of our lives with a calligrapher's signature on that diploma. So, although you're off to new places, you see, we shall linger here for eternity as members of the teaching fraternity, forever destined to be gradually waiting instead of graduating, but I'm not hating. There's no melancholy pervading these words. See, you guys are the fruit, and goodbye is the bittersweet rind on which teachers have chewed since the beginning of time. And the real crime would be if you did not rise, serene and sublime on those wings so divine. See, your successes and mine are in all ways entwined. So when the school bell sounds that last knell, when you check out of this brick motel, when you're paroled from this prison cell, go forth, run like a gazelle, don't stay and dwell. Look over your shoulder and give a yell, but dreams are fleeting, so run like hell. Don't linger here, go break the spell, just go excel, and fare you well. Thanks. Full disclosure, I'm not really making this one up as I go along, because I'm scared. I can't do it. But I wrote this one a couple weeks ago. I'm going to call it, I am going to make up the title right now on the spot, by the way. I'm going to call this one For the Seniors. Remember, the 5th of September, we started with fire. Now we're down to the embers. But before we surrender to sweet summer splendor, here's one for the members of the class of 2019. This one's for the bus drivers, for the robotics advisors, for the cancer survivors, for the fist bumpers and the high fivers, for the morning show livers, for the honor roll thrivers and the hallway connivers, for the essay revisers, for the younger yet wiser, for the just-on-time arrivers, for the strugglers, for the strivers, and for the plates that loose your salivas like rivers. This one's for you. This one's for the janitors, for the student ambassadors, for 180 days X'd off your calendars, for all the taco salads you massacred, and for the nights you blew off your homework because you were watching The Bachelor, for leadership with Malibu, for striving to be high caliber, for the Falcons, who can still hear the falconer, for pi times diameter, and for all those bygone days when you slid down banisters and talked to your friends on canisters connected by string. This one's for you too. This one's for the brothers and the sisters, for the hallway kissers, for the shouts, for the whispers, for those who are excellent listeners, for the blacktop dribblers, the notebook scribblers, and the rooftop fiddlers, for the coffee double fisters, for the snow days in winter, for the classes you passed by a whisker, for those times your fingers got blisters from working them to the bone. This one's for the parents who have shown such forbearance, who have that keen awareness, who taught you justice and fairness, who so often made you embarrassed, who've run 10,000 errands, whose larynx are worn out from telling you that they're proud of you, they love you, they'll never put anything above you. This one is for them tonight, maybe more than anyone. And finally, this one's for the seniors, for the just turned 18ers, for the window-gazing dreamers and the underachievers, for the true believers and the art class dream weavers, for the parking lot speeders, for the paste eaters, for the poetic tweeters, for the kids who read every line of Julius Caesar, for the magic makers in the theater and the followers who dare to become leaders, for the skin your knees and bleeders but never accept defeaters, for that good friend who was always there when you really needed her, for your lives, man. I hope they're longer and sweeter and burn brighter than 10 million meteors. And for those of you gripped by a fever to change the world, thank you. Thank you. 1,000 times thank you. This one is for you.